right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Building better. The fixer-upper is hoping to fix a downtown problem.
So it seems kind of wrong to not try to fix it.
Chilly mornings, but hey, it's dry. Why the bright sky may be a bit deceptive with the cool morning temperatures.
Our top story, a triple murder investigation leads to a deadly standoff with police.
I hear shooting every night.
Every day is like it's getting worse and worse and worse.
Neighbors react as advocates fight to stop the violence. Good evening, I'm Kelly Jackson. Investigators say the armed suspect was also found dead after that shootout, bringing the death toll to 4 people. It happened near Sherman Park in North St. Louis. 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend has new reaction.
Long before sunrise Friday, gunfire rattled people in this North St. Louis neighborhood out of their beds.
Maybe 6, 7 gunshots.
It's just unbelievable.
Police went to the 5100 block of Wells Avenue after receiving a shot spotter call. Officers and federal agents with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives surrounded the boarded-up house to search for evidence until they could get a search warrant. Police say a man first came outside to talk to them.
He exited the home again, armed with a rifle.
Investigators say the man they believe was a 61-year-old convicted felon, then shot at officers.
One SLMPD officer and an ATF special agent exchanged gunfire with the suspect before the suspect re-entered the home.
A SWAT team entered the home and found the suspect dead near the front door, a woman dead in the living room, and a man dead in the basement.
I hear shooting every night, just about every night.
It's terrible.
You could see the shock on neighbors' faces.
Everybody want a decent neighborhood. Everybody want to be able to come outside with their children, their grandchildren, their family, and enjoy themselves instead of have to hear gunshots and run in the house and run for cover.
No law enforcement officers were hurt. Hours after the deadly shootings, members of the group Show Me Peace canvassed this neighborhood to see what they could learn about the violence. The crimes happened about a block over from their office.
So we get out and we try to figure out who was impacted, and we try to provide services.
Police also found 5 guns inside the home, 3 near the suspect's body.
I wouldn't go as far to say that it was vacant. We'd found clothing items inside the home. There were tools inside the home.
Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
Police have not released the names of the 3 victims or the suspect. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with the weather impact forecast, and right now we are hoping today's warm weather will stick with us through the weekend. Warm and dry.
Yeah, dry weather and some sunshine too. You can see, looking at Arnold this afternoon, off to our south, that's where the clouds are associated with that southern system, which should be staying down to our south here. But we're going to be on the northern fringes of seeing some high cloud cover over the next couple of days. It doesn't really look to have a big impact on our forecast, and it's not thick cloud cover that A, would keep us from warming up, and B, give us rain. That's not on the table. Koki is already down to 52. So is Arnold right now. 55 in Alton as well as O'Fallon. Looking across the region, we're going to see some of the coolest temperatures here and then into the Ohio Valley during the overnight hours, expecting us to drop back into the 40s. So it'll be pretty chilly tomorrow morning. And again, the high thin clouds down across southeast Missouri and southern Illinois. So it's rather chilly overnight as we drop back into the 40s, but it is a brighter, dry weekend. The rain chances are returning Monday. We will track that upper level system that bring those rain chances back to us in just a few minutes.
New tonight, Kirkwood City leaders say it could take days to lift a boil advisory. The city's been under one since a water main broke near Marshall Road and Charmwood yesterday. City officials now say it is expected to last another 24 to 48 hours. The boil advisory caused multiple schools to cancel classes and caused the Magic House to close early. Right now, a man is facing charges after a deadly hit and run in St. Anne. Police say Carlos Martinez fled the scene after a motorcyclist crashed into his car yesterday on St. Charles Rock Road. The motorcyclist died at the hospital. Court documents claim Martinez then took the license plates off the car and tried to hide it. They also say he admitted to driving away because he was scared. Martinez is now charged with leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death. Developing tonight, Brentwood businesses are fighting the city in court. The businesses have been in court with city officials since Monday, fighting a 2023 study designating their business area as blighted. If the designation stands, the city could take possession of the businesses at any time and give them to private buyers. Business owners claim the blighted term is legally and factually wrong.
They're pointing to things like cracks in pavement or chipped paint, things that could be easily remedied if they just told the business owners to do it. Overgrown weeds, you can mow your lawn. These things aren't blight, so we're arguing that the blight study was insufficient and these properties should be allowed to stay.
The Brentwood Board of Aldermen and the city's mayor have not responded to our requests for comment. First responders added a new name to the St. Louis County Police and Firefighter Memorial today. Fire Captain James Kova died of cardiac arrest last July after responding to multiple emergency calls. He was 54 years old. Kova's name was added during the annual remembrance ceremony. County Police Chief Kenneth Gregory read the names of every fallen first responder dating back to 1898.
The thing that I do when I read those names off, I think about the places that I was at that time. 1966 was when I started high school. 1970 when I graduated from high school. Things that happened in those particular years. On my mother's birthday, there was a name in there on my mother's birthday.
This is the 47th year for the ceremony at Memorial Park in Clayton, which included a memorial breakfast at the Ritz-Carlton. A revitalization boom is underway for a section of downtown St. Louis. Late last year, we told you how Oliver Properties invested millions of dollars to transform the Sixth Court building at 10th and Washington. As Brent Solomon is live to explain, that same developer is now expanding those efforts. Brent?
Well, Kelly, that expansion is leading to more people moving to that section of downtown, more businesses opening up, including a restaurant owner. You're about to meet him right now. He's putting the final touches on his very first establishment.
It's an inside look at a new restaurant opening in just a matter of weeks on Washington Avenue.
This feels amazing. I can't say enough about it.
Jadero Logan is the mastermind behind the moniker.
What we are missing is exactly this. So I want to kind of showcase the culinary scene, the cocktail scene, the hospitality scene, and then elevate that.
Here's how that space looked back in October when we first told you a local developer had plans to bring in new food options. Alex Oliver made good on that promise after investing $7 million to renovate the Sixth Court apartment building. Now he's acquired even more properties to keep the upgrades going. Let's start here at the building that houses Rooster Restaurant. Renovations are now underway to the B-Hat lofts inside.
And by adding a fitness center, which the building didn't have, and then putting the washer and dryers in the units, makes it more appealing.
The same is happening down the street at the Bogan Lofts.
It's a coffee bar, a social lounge, a place where people can hang out with their neighbors, hang out with their friends outside of just their apartment.
And remember the former Rain nightclub, which shut down a few years ago? Oliver is now bringing a new food hall here.
Not a nightclub scene, but a bar, a restaurant, outdoor patio space.
The operator for that new venture expected to be named any day now. It's intentional investment to bring and keep foot traffic downtown.
This is, I think, the core and really the backbone of downtown.
And Oliver says people who are looking for places to live like this idea of renovated facilities, amenities, and retail. In fact, when we spoke to him last fall, the Sixth Court apartment building was at 60 to 70% occupancy. Right now it's at 95%. Live downtown, Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
Today, Explore St. Louis announced a major robotics competition is bringing a big boost to St. Louis. The VEX Robotics World Championship will be held at the America Center Convention Center next year and the year after. Explore St. Louis says the event will bring $16 to $17 million to the city, with guests expected to book more than 25,000 hotel rooms. Mayor Kara Spencer says the benefits for the city go beyond the financials.
And if we can get them excited about St. Louis and all that we have to offer, not just the fun, but the institutions, the higher education, the industries that we have here, this is a tremendous opportunity for our broader community.
Mayor Spencer added some potential soccer-related events could also be coming to the city. Tonight, the Stray Rescue Animal Shelter is preparing for an emergency adoption event. The shelter says they're beyond capacity. The adoption event is set for tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at their Pine Street location just outside Energizer Park. All adoption fees for dogs 6 months and older are covered. And just minutes ago, a Mother's Day weekend tradition wrapped up its first day of celebrations. The annual art fair at Lawmeyer Sculpture Park in Sunset Hills started today. You can see the work of more than 150 artists from St. Louis and across the country. There's also food, music, live music, and drinks and activities for the kids. The art fair runs through Sunday and serves as a fundraiser for the park. Today, Maryland Heights celebrated 40 years since its incorporation. The city held a free festival at the Westport Plaza to celebrate the milestone. The event included carnival rides, a treasure hunt, a parade, and live music. If you missed it, don't worry. The party starts up again tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Real ID, real problems. The warning from airport officials that could help you avoid major travel headaches. A new pope, celebrated by an old friend.
I knew then he's going places.
An Illinois priest takes us on a trip down memory lane, leading straight to the Vatican.
Nearly perfect weather for Mother's Day weekend, but the rain chances, they're not staying away for long. Windstorm chances move back into the area, plus potentially some of the warmest weather so far this year on the horizon.
Here's a live look at St. Louis Lambert International Airport, where officials are anticipating a busy travel season. TSA agents expect the recent switch to real IDs will cause longer lines at security checkpoints, creating longer wait times. So far, agents at Lambert say the first few days of the requirement have gone smoothly, but the agency is still warning travelers to plan ahead and get to the airport early. For those who still don't have one, the TSA says they're here to help.
They're going to give you a red card, and it basically lets you know that you don't have a real ID compliant license. There's a QR code on there that will tell you all of the acceptable forms of ID that we do accept. And it could also take you to the FAQ, which will answer questions on what we accept and what will happen at the security checkpoint.
Other acceptable forms of ID include passports and military IDs. Department of Homeland Security Trusted Traveler Cards and Transportation Worker IDs are also accepted. Tonight, Missouri lawmakers passed a state budget just hours before the deadline. The $53 billion plan will increase public education funding by almost $500 million. It also includes a raise for all state workers. The budget now heads to Governor Mike Kehoe's desk to sign. And just hours ago, the Illinois State Senate blocked a bill that would ban offensive high school mascots. House Bill 1237 failed to make it out of committee. The bill would require schools to change their names, logos, and mascots if they refer to Native American tribes. Advocates in the Illinois House could bring the bill back for a vote at a later date. Today marked the first full day on the job for the first American Pope. Pope Leo XIV presided over his first Mass in the Sistine Chapel. He prayed for peace and called on the cardinals to show humility. The new pontiff is originally from Chicago and graduated from Villanova University, but we've learned the Pope spent a year here in St. Louis during his religious studies. St. Louis native Cardinal Timothy Dolan, who is the Archbishop of New York, says the Pope must leave the past behind to bring the church into the future.
He reminds us that we all have our true citizenship in heaven, as St. Paul taught us, and that is his role as universal pastor. Where he comes from is sort of now a thing of the past. You know, Robert Francis Prevost is no longer around. It's now Pope Leo.
And Pope Leo is expected to continue the reform work started by Pope Francis. Pope Leo has another connection to the bi-state, this time in the form of a friendship with a priest in the Belleville Diocese. 5 on Your Side's Holden Kerwicki spoke to the pastor, who gave us a more in-depth look at who the Pope is.
Let your love for one another be intense.
From a young age,
as good stewards of God's varied grace,
Father Brian Barker was drawn to the priesthood.
Love and peace and enthusiasm is contagious.
At 14, he enrolled at St. Augustine's in Holland, Michigan, where he quickly became friends with another student, Robert Francis Prevost.
He was a brainiac. You know, he was just very smart. You know, he was very gentle, down to earth, great with people, very prayerful, very bright, speaks all these languages.
After high school, they each enrolled at Villanova.
I knew then he's going places.
After college, Father Barker routinely took high school students on mission trips to Peru, where Prevost left the same message with each team.
That God loves them, that we're all the same. We're all the same in God's eyes. God loves everyone, and just to bring that peace of God to others.
The two were so close that Father Barker went to Rome as Prevost was made a cardinal.
And I was talking to a very good priest friend of mine, an Augustinian, and after that ceremony, we talked to each other. You know, he could become Pope.
Just 2 years later, his friend Bob was named Pope Leo XIV.
Tears, friend, dot my eyes.
Though it was an announcement that changed both of their lives forever.
He's not going to be able to go visit his brothers back in the Joliet area, you know, or he's not going to be able to to travel as he wants to.
Father Barker is confident one thing will remain unchanged for his longtime friend.
It's his heart is always going to be the same.
Reporting in Marion, Illinois, Holden Kerwicki. 5 on your side.
Father Barker also told us he will miss his routine chats with the man now known as Pope Leo, but he's confident they will continue once his security detail is finalized by the Vatican. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is back with the weather impact forecast, and it's going to be a nice Mother's Day, and we should enjoy this weather because down the road,
you know how it is. We've had a hard time.
The rain will be falling again.
We've had a hard time getting a stretch of nice dry weather to last for any period of time, certainly without paying some sort of price. And this week, you know, we had spots yesterday morning that had 2 to 3 inches of rainfall just down to the south and southwest of the metro area, even into parts of the metro area. That's all pushed away. Skies were much brighter today, but look at DeSoto, already down to 51 degrees. Smartfield's already down to 53. We're going to watch as temperatures drop back into the 40s tonight. So it is a rather chilly start, which means it's a little deceptive to think about sunscreen and temperatures in the 40s tomorrow morning walking out the door. If your kids tomorrow, or you're planning on being outside, the kids maybe have an all-day tournament somewhere, grab the sunscreen. The sun is as strong now as it is around the beginning of August. So it's pretty intense. You can get a nasty sunburn with that. Warmer temperatures are on the way for Mother's Day. You just don't think about the sunscreen on days when you start with temperatures in the 40s. And the reason we'll be in the 40s, that dew point's down to 42 right now. The winds are calm. Skies are mainly clear. It's 62 now at Lambert. Some spots will be between 40 and 45, especially in some of those low, colder spots southwest of St. Louis and also off to the northeast of town. Tomorrow, great day. A lot of sunshine's on the way, maybe a few high clouds here and there, but we're thinking mid-70s for highs tomorrow afternoon. That upper level system is still down to our south. This time, though, it's taking its sweet time getting back up here, which is good. That ensures that we get a dry weekend. But the northern fringes of that cloud cover will be flirting with our southern counties here over the weekend, and some of that will drift in on Mother's Day. May make for some beautiful sunrises and sunsets, and the bottom line is we are warm on Sunday, getting close to 80. But then that upper level system's here Monday into Tuesday. It brings us the chance of some showers. So as we track the impacts for next week, sunscreen obviously over the weekend, maybe that umbrella for Monday and Tuesday. Thursday, we might actually hit 90 degrees, and by Friday, there's that storm chance. Specifically for Mother's Day, just a few clouds, 67 degrees at 10 o'clock, 77 at 2 o'clock. Your next 7 days, well, there's a definite warming trend once we get that upper low out of here by the beginning of the week. Dry weekends on the way. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and dads, sons, uncles, cousins. Y'all better remember that Mother's Day is Sunday.
Yep.
And then you're looking at temperatures near 90 by Thursday.
Oh my
near 90.
goodness.
So yeah, we're in that time of year where everything goes.
Anything's possible. All right. Here's Corey with sports.
Well, the Cardinals began a long road trip tonight in D.C., and they had a player do something we haven't seen since 2022. I'll tell you about it next in sports. We've seen the Cardinals win at home. They're tied for the most home wins in baseball. Now we need to see it on the road. Tonight, they tried to win their 6th straight game while kicking off a long road trip in D.C., and it could not have gone much better. It was an Apple TV affair tonight in the nation's capital, but if you missed it, I've got you covered. First inning, stay hot, Wilson Contreras. He smokes one down the line and left to score 2 and put the Cards on top early. Eric Fetty faced the team that drafted him tonight in the Nationals. That was a nasty pitch, and he was not close to being done. Hey, welcome back, Ivan Herrera. How about some immediate impact? Cards up 4-0 in the 5th, and Herrera drills a double to score a run. He's going to pull off a pretty awesome swim move slide into second base. He's safe. Let's go back to Fetty, still rolling in the 5th. See ya, Dylan Cruz. Then in the 7th, bye-bye, Josh Bell. You see that big 0 on the scoreboard? Yeah, Fetty was not giving it up. He finishes off the complete game shutout, the first of his career, and the first for the Cardinals since 2022. Cards win 10-0, their 6th win in a row, and they are now over 500. Here's Fetty after the best performance of his career.
It was awesome. Last year I got a chance to go out for the 9th against Tampa and, squandered it. So, just trying to tell myself to stay calm and let's get this one. It's a strange feeling because, you picture when you come to the big leagues, like I will throw my first CG here, I'll throw great games here, and it's funny you had to leave and come back to do it.
Plenty of St. Louis connections in the Panthers Maple Leaf series. Chaminade's Matthew Tkachuk, Darden Prairie's Joseph Woll, and of course Craig Berube coaching the Leafs. Wild game, Leafs tied things up at 4 with this goal in the 3rd that goes off Panthers defenseman Seth Jones. But then in overtime, the newest Panther had himself a moment. Brad Marchand scores the game winner. Florida wins 5-4. Toronto now leads the series 2-1.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
For the first time in nearly 2 months, City SC won a game. However, it wasn't an MLS game. They'll get a chance to break that streak tomorrow night at Energizer Park against San Diego. Just because that win on Wednesday was in the U.S. Open Cup over a lower division Union Omaha team doesn't mean it doesn't matter. This club advances in the tournament and finally got to see a W by their name again. Here's head coach Olaf Melberg on what he hopes to take into tomorrow's match from Wednesday's win.
A couple of nice goals. We created a lot of chances and, thought overall decent performance. It's not easy against a lower level team, and they had some good individual players. So overall a decent performance.
We'll have to wait a bit longer to see the Battlehawks back in action. They face lowly Memphis on Sunday. They'll be bringing quite a weapon with them. Rodrigo Blankenship is a perfect 14 for 14 in field goals this season. You just saw him celebrating winning the UFL Special Teams Player of the Week last week. And his coach is not short on confidence in his kicker.
If we're in the dome, I wouldn't. He probably hit a 70-yarder, honestly, but we're not going to lean on that, because if he does miss that, then our defense is in a little bind. But it's been fantastic, man. I said this at the after the game. I mean, enjoy him now. He's not going to be here next year. So, and if he isn't, then there's something wrong with the NFL.
Join us Sunday night for Sports Plus. Frank Cusimano has the best stories in town, including a look at the life and career of new Cardinals Hall of Famer Al Raboski. That is Sunday night at 10:30. Right here on 5 on Your Side. I'm not saying buy your Cardinals World Series tickets just yet, but 6 wins in a row is impressive.
I mean, that is impressive.
It's impressive. Things are looking good. They're fun to watch.
We've got to have faith in them.
That's all I can ask for. They're fun to watch.
Send those positive vibes.
There we go.
All right. Kid Conclave, how a group of students are turning a historic moment into a history lesson. Okay, so we are learning more about where the new Pope's sport allegiances lie. Pope Leo XIV's brother set the record straight, saying the pontiff is a Chicago White Sox fan. Well, the team heard the news and quickly let the whole city know, putting the message, "Hey Chicago, he's a Sox fan," on their Jumbotron. However, his brother added that their father was a St. Louis Cardinals fan. All right. Well, students in Chicago had a special reason to celebrate the new Pope. 20 kids took part in a mock conclave for a learning experience and even elected their own 4th grade Pope. When the announcement came out that Pope Leo XIV was from Chicago, the entire class started cheering, and waving American flags.
The White Sox won tonight, so
They did?
I guess it's already helping out.
Oh, that's great. All right. Thanks so much for joining us at 10. We are always streaming on the free 5 Plus app. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 6 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.